time. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Learning Trick Shots is a Load of Fun. Hopefully you guys have already noticed I did some lighting changes. Hopefully you guys like it. I've been wanting to do it, meaning to do it, but every time I get to do one of these videos, it's usually during the day, and this room that I'm in gets flooded with sunlight, so it's hard for that lighting to actually show up back there on camera. But I'm doing this one after the sun has gone down, so I decided to throw in those lights. Y'all let me know what you think. Leave a comment about it. Let me know if you want me to keep doing this or not. In the meantime, I apologize for all the stuff in the background. Had a little incident this past weekend where the plumbing got backed up. It's once it hit the city, there just before it gets to the city sewage system, something happened and it got clogged up. And when that happens, it starts coming up into my house, or into my apartment, and the next door neighbor gets it worse than I do because their place is the first place that it starts overflowing and flooding into the apartment. So I had to have the maintenance crew come out and fix it, and then they called up the cleaning crew to come in and clean up the carpet so the place didn't smell like sewage for the 2 weeks. So, unfortunately, it kind of leaked out into this room and got into the closet area where I keep a bunch of my video equipment and my photography stuff. So that's why there's a bunch of stuff in the background right now. Probably next couple of days or so, I'll get all that stuff cleaned up, so it won't be as much of a distraction. But anyway, like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the lighting, if you like it or if you don't. Anyway, but this week's trick shot, I'm going to show you how to do 3 balls in 2 pockets. Interesting little trick shot. Doesn't look like much could happen with it, because that's the way these trick shots are. Most of the time it doesn't look like there's a shot there, but there really is. But I'm going to show you this one just because I thought it was pretty cool. It's really simple to do. Doesn't take a whole lot. Pretty much anybody can set this up and pull this off if you actually know how to shoot the shot. So that's what we're going to go over today. And this one, I basically call it, 3-ball rail shot, because essentially that's what you're doing. You're shooting a rail shot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. I'll fade this over. We'll go over the setup, like usual, and I'll pause the video and we'll go over the setup, and then we'll go over the execution, and I'll play the video so you can actually see it happen. So here we go, guys. All right, so this is the setup for this shot. Like I said, it's 3 balls. You're going into 2 pockets. If you notice up here on the diagram, I have all the instructions on where to put the balls and how to set those up. It's not a big deal, really. If you look at it, the cue ball, you want to place that somewhere inside the starting box, which basically is a couple of inches beyond the foot spot where you would put your rack, the first ball in the rack. Put that just above it, so you actually have an angle to get into the one ball, which is where you're going to be shooting. But when you set this up, you want to put the one ball with the center of the one ball being even with the first diamond right here. So the center of this ball, the one ball goes center to that diamond. Then you want to take your two ball and freeze it to the one ball, but you want to set it up in a specific way to where the line of centers on the one and the two actually come across table over here to this second diamond. Once you have that, then you go ahead and you put the three ball in there and freeze them together. In this video, it doesn't look like they're actually frozen. I was having fun trying to get those frozen because there's some divots in the slate there on this particular table that wasn't letting me get them completely frozen, but they should be frozen. But as you can see here, it's not 100% frozen, but the shot still works. But you want to set it up so that the 2 and the 3, their line of centers come over to the left side of this pocket, right? Basically, either right at the pocket's point or just inside the pocket's point at this spacing. And that's just to allow for a little bit of throw. There's not a whole lot with this particular shot, just because of what happens during the shot, which you'll see here just in a couple seconds. But essentially, that's how you set this shot up. And it's pretty straightforward. Let me switch this over to the education or the execution diagram so that we can start talking about that. So 3-ball rail shot execution, there we go. So with this shot, you're basically going to be aiming at the one ball like you're doing a rail shot. Right, so in the diagram, I show you're hitting the edge of the one ball right there. But as we all know, anybody with any experience in the game, when you're shooting a rail shot, you want to try and hit the rail and the object ball basically at the same time in order to get it go straight down the rail. Otherwise, you end up catching too much of the ball goes into the rail, bounces out, you miss your shot. So you're basically shooting this like a rail shot, but as you can see by the spin diagram here, you're going to be putting a lot of inside English on this. So with this particular shot, the way it's set up, that's going to call for left English, right? i.e. 9 o'clock. All right, and just shoot it right in there like you're doing a rail shot. When that happens, as you can see in the diagram, the lines are color-coded for the direction that the balls are going to go. So your 1 and your 2 ball are both going to go into this corner pocket. And then your 3 ball is going to go over here into this corner pocket. So with all that taken care of and spoken of, let's go ahead and play this video and let you see what happens for yourself. There we go. I'll restart it so you can watch it one more time. I caught another frame from another video there. Sorry about that, guys. But let's see if I can hit the right button this time. And let's do the drone weed. There we go, guys. That is the trick shot for this week. It's a pretty easy trick shot. Like I said, anybody can do it. You set the balls up correctly, and it's just like shooting a rail shot, right? Now, if you struggle with shooting a rail shot, this one might give you a little bit of a problem. But most of you guys have been around a little while because I've seen the demographic on my videos, and most of you are, 40s and up. So most of you have been around a little while. You've probably been playing the game for a while, so you know how to shoot a rail shot. But that's basically what this is. Quite simple, easy trick shot to perform. As I do these videos, we're going to get into some more complicated trick shots, but I want to give you guys some easy trick shots, ones that pretty much anybody can do, just so you can get your confidence level up and start enjoying the idea of being able to do trick shots. The other benefit to this is a lot of these trick shots that I'm showing you, once you know these, once you've done them, once you've seen them, you'll start seeing them come up on the table. And the irony behind it is you'll see them a lot more often than you think you will. I know just this past week, during my league match, I had a game with one of the people from the other team that I knew he was going to try and defense me. I knew that the defense that he was trying to pull off was going to be a pretty touchy one, because he was trying to basically shoot straight into his object ball, get it to hit the rail, and come straight back out to hit the cue ball and leave me behind a wall of 2 balls with my object ball just on the other side, about a half inch off the rail. Fortunately, though, that didn't happen. The object ball came off, hit the cue ball to the low side of it, which sent the cue ball up table, and his object ball went down table and stopped even with the other object ball that was sitting about a half inch away from my ball. So I had an easy shot it with bottom right, cut it into the pocket, cue ball come back up table, and I had perfect shape on the 8 ball with a slight little cut into the side pocket to win the game. But the fact that the thought was there and that he was going to try and actually do that, made me realize that it's time for me to start practicing my masse shots a little more often. Just because of the way the situation was, my immediate thought was masse, but I've got a video where I set that shot up, and I actually do the masse. In the video that I actually captured of successfully pulling it off, I actually end up hooking myself behind the 5 ball, which is one of the dangers of doing those kind of trick shots. But if you can do the shot, get enough spin with the masse that you can get out and around the balls and come back without touching the rail, then you end up carrying into the rail. The spin then takes you down table into the shore rail and back out to where you actually have a shot. So that's why I said I need to get on the table and do a little more practicing with that, because I definitely don't have the touch and the feel or the control over the masses that I used to have. But again, that's why I do my training. That's why, I do all the practicing and stuff and trying to get the stuff back, which is also why you haven't seen very many masses being shared with you guys yet, because I want to get a little better with those before I actually start trying to show you those things. Because they are very much a feel shot and very much a touch shot. So you kind of have to practice those and develop that on your own. But I can also, once I've gotten to that point where I've developed that feel and that touch, I'll be able to help guide you a little bit more in answering any questions that you might have with problems that you might be having trying to do the masse shots. So that's something that I'm keeping in my mind and why I haven't really done a whole lot of masse shots for you guys. But there are some that are coming. I will be doing some of the more simple ones that I have a little bit more control over, that I feel a little more comfortable with, and I'll be showing you guys how to do those. I've already shown you how to do one, I believe. I think in the first video that I did talking about trick shots will help your game. So that one I won't be doing again because I want to show you a different one and teach you how to do those. I know one coming up in the near future I'll do is the rocket masse, because I've gotten to a point now where I can nail it 2 out of 3 times that I try it. So I'll be doing that one here pretty soon. But for now, because of everything that's been going on, I took one day and just filmed a bunch of different trick shots. So this is the first of 11 that I filmed on that day. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together these videos, the narration, the tutorial type stuff, part of the videos, and schedule those to be released once a week. So for the next 11 weeks, you'll be seeing a video released probably on Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because with everything that I do have going on, I want a little bit more time to focus on my regular game and doing some of the training that I'm doing with that, as well as training on the jump shots and the mass A shots. Because it just, the last couple of months, every time, pardon me, it's late, my throat's getting a little froggy, but I apologize for that. But every time I've gone in to try and work on my jump shots or my mass A shots, one of my friends ends up showing up and they want to play games and stuff. So, you know, I've been distracted. I haven't been able to focus on those things. But after that multi-day tournament that I was a part of, I saw some things that I didn't really like that took place, and it renewed my competitive vigor to the point that I am focused on actual training in order to ensure that some of those things don't happen again the next time around. So I'm hitting the jump shots, hitting the mass A shots, hitting difficult shots, difficult cut shots, full table shots, all kinds of stuff during my training, just to increase my make percentages. So if you guys want to see some of that, let me know. Put a comment down there, you know, say, hey, yeah, we'd love to see what you do for training, how you conduct your training, what you're looking for, you know, that kind of stuff. Just leave a comment down there, and if you want to see that kind of stuff, then, you know, I'll go ahead and make some videos of that as well. Because I'm sure those will be helpful for you to, for your own personal game as well. But I want to primarily focus more on trick shots with this. And I'm not, if you want to see the fancy trick shots, the really artistic style trick shots where you've got props on the table and they're dancing the cue ball all around the props and everything else, this isn't going to be the channel for you. Florian does that the best, i.e. Venom trick shots. If you want to see that kind of stuff, go check him out. I'm going to focus more on practical trick shots. And when I say practical trick shots, I mean shots that you might actually find coming up in your actual game, you know, like the 3-rail reverse bank, and this shot and some of the other shots that I've shown you. The reason that I'm showing those to you is because I have personally come across those shots in actual pool games, in actual league matches and tournament play. So I know they come up in regular play. So the things that I'm going to show on this channel, I want to focus more in that direction. So, you know, just so you know what my intention is with these particular videos and on this channel, that's what I'm looking at. I want to do practical things that are going to help you in your game, help improve your percentages of runouts, et cetera, because a lot of these trick shots that I'm going to show you are run stoppers if you don't understand how to shoot these shots. For an example, the hurting shots, they come up all the time. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, I've spotted probably a dozen or more hurting shots that either I could have taken or my opponent could have taken that ended up being looked at or viewed as, well, that's a run stopper, so I'm just going to break that cluster up. And unfortunately for me, those particular hurting shots that I was looking forward to doing when I came to the table got broken up by my opponent because it was my opponent's ball that my ball was frozen to that had the hurt shot there. So I never got to actually do the hurt shot, unfortunately. that was a little frustrating. But that just goes to show you that they can be run stoppers if you don't know how to shoot them, which is why I included an entire episode on just hurting shots. And one of these next videos that I've got coming up in the next 11 weeks goes over another hurting shot that I didn't cover in that one, which a lot of people don't think of it as a hurting shot, but it actually is when you look at the functionality and the fundamentals of the shot. It's a hurting shot, at least by the definition that people use to cover hurting shots. You already know my feelings on what I consider to be a hurting shot, but it falls in that category. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to call this one a day and see y'all again in the next video. But before then, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell so you know when these next 11 videos get put up. All right. So you guys have a great evening. I'm going to try and get some sleep and get some, maybe get a couple more of these recorded for you guys so that they're ready to go out in a timely fashion over the next 11 weeks. All right, guys. Well, you have a good one, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.